the canals, right? And in the previous lecture, we had discussion on the two types of the canals. I mean the channels. A channel which is carrying the clear water. This is very simple, right? And in this case, you have to invoke this Manning equation for the design, right? And I had told you in this case, of course, the corners are being rounded, right? Reason behind that one is at the corners you have the zero shear stress, and there would be deposition of the sediment there, and that's why that is being rounded. Okay, right? And the second that we had discussed is if the rigid channel is carrying the sediment laden flow, right? So in this case, you see whatever we had discussed last time. Okay, we have to design assuming that the channel is carrying clear water, and then you have to check, okay, whether that is carrying this much sediment load of this much size or not, right? Now we have to proceed further, okay, and now we'll come to the alluvial channel, okay. So now today we'll discuss the, of course, today we'll be not in position to complete this, but we'll discuss the two channels, one channel which is carrying the clear water, okay, and the design of the another channels which is carrying the sediment laden flow, right? So let us start with the alluvial channel carrying clear water, okay. The concept that we have to discuss here, that is a tractive force approach. So should we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please keep on interacting. Okay. See what we have to discuss today. I mean, what is the approach here? Approach of the design, right? This is based on the tractive force approach. Means that you have to design a channel okay. So you have to design a channel. Let us say I am taking a general case, I am in a trapezoidal channel, right? And this one is the water level. And in this case, the known things are, I mean, the known parameter in this case is for how much discharge we have to design it. So we know what is the discharge of this one. I mean, what is the design discharge? Whether we have to design a discharge for the 100 meter cube per second, 300 meter cube per second, 50 meter cube per second. So that is known to us. The second one is the slope of this channel. So this slope of the channel, as I've all discussed a number of times, that is being decided on the basis of the longitudinal slope of the NSL, I mean the natural surface level. However, that is being modified also. But this S, the slope, that is known to you. Okay. The second thing here is, right, because this is not a rigid channel. Okay. This is having the, this is alluvial channel, means that you have these sediment particles. I mean, this channel is consisted of the sediment particles. So you have this sediment on the bed and you have this sediment on the sides. So virtually this is the sediment that is on the bed. I mean, this is the bed, right? And this one is the side. So you have the sediment on the bed also, and you have on the side also, right? I mean, this channel is in the alluvial channel. So you have the sediment, right? So what is the size of this sediment? Here the small d that I'm using is the size of the sediment, okay? So these are the things that are known to you, right? Now coming to the slope of this, I mean, what should be the slope? 1:m. I mean, what is the value of the m, right? And that one you can decide on the basis of course, the angle of the repose and the stability of the slope. I think that part also we had discussed. So you know what is the side slope. Now there are two things that we have to decide. One is what is the bed width, right? And what is the depth of the flow? I'm writing this depth of the flow by H. Okay. And I think in this graph, Z is being used. So let me, yes. So let me use the Z here in place of the M. तो मैं इसको M को मिटा देता हूं यहां से, M को मिटा देता हूं, so that we should have the consistency, right? This one is the Z, right? I mean, this is the slope. So these are the known things, right? And what are the unknown in this case? Unknown in this case is, of course, the B. I mean, what is the bed width and what is the depth of the flow? So these are the two things that are unknown. So design in this case is fixing the value of the B and H. Okay. Now, as I discussed with you, we have to talk about the tractive force approach. Tractive force approach for the design of this, right? I mean, this is a clear water. This is not carrying sediment, okay? But we have, this channel is a stable channel. I mean, the cross section of this one is not changing, right? So this is a stable channel. The cross section is not changing. This means that the sediment particles which are on the bed and which are on the side, that should not move. So listen this one carefully. I'm just drawing here a bigger size of the sediment. Okay. I mean, this is the sediment on the bed, and this is the sediment on the resting on the side. Okay. And you have to fix the value of the B and H such a way, right, that this sediment particles and this sediment particles that should not move, right? And for that, we are taking the approach of the tractive force. That's fine. Let us talk about the stability of the sediment particles that is on the bed, right? At what shear stress that bed sediment particles that will move? At what shear stress this sediment particle which is on the bed, I'm saying, let us say this is the sediment particle, this is the particle P1, and this one is the particle, or let me write here PB, and this one is the PS. So this is the particle which is on the bed, and PS is the particle which is on the side. So now let us concentrate to the bed here. So this bed, right, which is, I mean, the sediment of the size D, which is on the bed, right? How much shear stress is required to move it? You have to participate. You have to participate in the discussion. If you keep quiet, then I...
Tau C, sir, critical shear stress.
Please, again, I am saying that please participate, okay? Critical shear stress. I mean, this tau C. Tau C is the shear stress if the flowing water that will exert this much shear stress, okay, then this sediment particles that will move, right? I had told you the shear stress that is acting on the bed or on the bank, okay, I mean the sides, we used to take a average value, and that average value used to take tau naught is equal to gamma RS, okay? If you have a wide channel, R is equal to H, I mean the depth of the flow. For the wide channel, this will be equal to rho GHS, right? For the wide channel. But this is the average value which is acting. So now you see this tau naught that you have seen here is a function of R and S, right? In S is fixed, R is not fixed, right? Okay. Or if you want to know that you have a channel and whether this channel is stable or not, okay, in that case the R is known, right? And you can check it whether this channel is coming under the stable condition or not, okay? But from the design consideration, you see this value of the R that is to be fixed in such a way, okay, that should be less than the critical shear stress which is acting here, okay, right? Second thing is this sediment particles, right, that is never being designed for the sediment for the shear stress equal to tau c. In general, that is being designed for the lesser value of the tau c. I mean, we can take 90% of the tau c or we can take 80% of the tau c, okay, right, for the design of this. Second things that I had share with you, we are taking this average value, but this is not the shear stress which is acting on the bed and the side, okay. If you see that distribution, okay, then that distribution is like this, okay. You have the on the bed you have the shear stress distribution like this, and I think we had discussed that one last time. And this is the shear stress distribution on the side. Here you have a zero shear stress, right? And in the graph, I will show you how much is the shear stress that is acting, okay, right, on the bed and the side, right, okay, for a, you see, for a given section of the channel, okay. I mean, corresponds to B and H and Z. So on the basis of the B, H and Z, okay, we'll get now from this graph, right, what is the maximum shear stress that is acting on the bed. I'm saying that maximum. We are not going here the distribution, okay, we are touching the maximum because we have to check the stability of this particle. Then we are interested in the maximum shear stress which is acting. So now you can see here, you can see this graph. So see the first one is the channel side, okay, and you have this channel, right, and the first one is here the rectangular channel. So in the rectangular channel, of course, the Z is coming out to be 0, okay. And for the two value of the Z, 1.5 and Z is equal to 2, the shear stress that is given here, and that shear stress is, this one is the, I think maybe will be not, this will be not readable, TSM by rho G HS. So TSM, tau, sorry, not T, tau SM means this is the maximum shear stress that is acting, okay, on the side if you have the channel which is having the bed width B and the depth of the flow that is H. I mean, this is the ratio B by H. So for the different B by H, okay, what would be the value of the tau SM, I mean the maximum shear stress on the side, you can get from this graph. And likewise, you can get that one for the bed. So you can say this is on the channel bed here, and here this notation, this is only change here is in place of the tau S, we are writing tau BM by this one remains to be same rho GS. Okay, so please note down here. This is the shear stress which is acting due to the flowing water, maximum shear stress for the different value of the Z and for the different value of the B by H. So for the different value of the Z and the different value of the B by H, okay, we can get, okay, what is the maximum shear stress that is acting on the bed and what is the maximum shear stress that is acting on the sides. Okay, so note down again I'm saying that this is the shear stress which is acting due to the flowing water, right? Means that you have to design your channel in such a way, okay, that this shear stress that is required to move that particle, that should be less than this. Am I right? Am I right or wrong?
So could you repeat?
May I repeat? What I'm saying that we have to design this section in such a way that the shear stress that can a sediment particles, let us say I'm talking about the bed, that can resist without moving, okay, that shear stress that should be more than this or less than this. ये नहीं समझेंगे तो मुश्किल होगा। आप इसको जब डिजाइन करते हैं, कोई भी आप जैसे मान लीजिए कि मैं एक सिंपल केस लेता हूं, हम एक बीम डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, तो बीम जब हमने डिजाइन किया तो वी हैव डिजाइन फॉर ए लोड विच इज, देखिए मैं उस पे शेयर स्ट्रेस पे और उस पे मैं सेफ्टी फैक्टर नहीं ले रहा हूं, उस पे कोई हम कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं ले रहे हैं, मैं लोड फैक्टर ले रहा हूं उसमें। तो मान लीजिए जो एक्चुअल लोड लग रही है, राइट, हम उसको उससे ज्यादा लोड पे डिजाइन करते हैं। तो यहां पे भी यही है कि ये जो सेडिमेंट पार्टिकल्स है इसको हम ज्यादा शेयर स्ट्रेस पे डिजाइन करें, राइट, कि उतने शेयर स्ट्रेस पे जो है माने उससे जो है आपको ज्यादा शेयर स्ट्रेस पे ये मूव करे, उससे कम शेयर स्ट्रेस पे मूव ना करे। लेकिन जो शेयर स्ट्रेस लग रही है फ्लोइंग वाटर की वजह से वो तो इससे कम होगी, अदरवाइज तो इसको मूव कर देगा। Whatever the shear stress that is acting on the bed, right, let me write here, मान लीजिए कि आपका बेड पे जो shear stress लग रहा है BL, or we can use this Toby, I don't know what is the notation I use, let me check, TBL, okay, so I've used the notation TBL, right, that is acting on the bed. This should be greater than TB max, okay, and likewise the TSL that should be greater than TSN. So have you understood? We are designing this one for the higher shear stress. But of course, that shear stress that will be not more than the tau C. This is also to be noted. This tau BL or tau SL, that in no case that will be more than the tau C. अगर ये समझ में आ गई है तो आप बताइए, मैं आगे बढ़ूं, otherwise please ask.
Yes sir, आ गया।
आ गया समझ में? Okay. Now coming to the stability of the sediment particles, right, which are on the bed and on the side, okay, so maybe your particles which is on the bed, that will be the stable, right, but the sediment particles that is on the side, that would not be stable, okay. I mean what I'm saying that, let us say we have to check a channel and I'm having the sediment particles on the bed and on the you see on the side. Let me take a sediment particles on the bed and take the sediment particles on the side, okay. So in this case, maybe let us say we are saying that for this particular depth of the flow, this is stable, but this may not be stable, okay, right, this is stable, but this maybe may not be. The reason behind that one is the shear stress that is acting on the bed, okay, I mean the force diagram of this bed particles and on the side particles, that is different. Okay, let me write that. Okay, so let us say the shear stress that is acting on this is, I'm talking about the bed particles. So here is the bed particles, I mean the particles which are on the bed, right? And the shear stress is acting here is TBL. And here the area on which that is acting, that is A. This is the A, right? Okay. What is the weight of this one? Weight of this one is WS. I mean, this is the submerged weight. So of course, this will be balanced with the submerged weight and angle of the, I mean, the, sorry, friction coefficient, right? So that friction coefficient here, that will be the angle of repose. So I'm writing here, this is the tan theta, okay, and this tan theta, the theta in this case is the angle of repose. Right? So this is the sediment particles which is on the bed. But if the sediment particles that is on this side, okay, which are on the sides, right? So you can see here the forces that is acting. The flowing water, let me see this diagram, then this will be clear. Let me enlarge this one also. Let me enlarge this. Now, see here, the flowing water, the direction of the flow, is this, right? And you have the sediment particles here. Now, this sediment particles in the direction of the flow, that will be subjected to the shear stress, which is equal to, I mean, this shear stress that is equal to tau SL into the area. Okay, that's right. And here, this is the W sine alpha. Alpha is the slope, side slope of the channel. I mean, this is the side slope of the channel. Right? Okay. So you know that in this case, I mean, what is the force which is, if you have a sediment particle here, right? So this is the WS. Let me redraw this for the more clarity. Okay. I mean, you have the side slope here and you have the sediment particles here. You have this one is WS, right? And this one is WS cos theta. And this one is WS, alpha. Alpha is here, not the theta, because theta is we are using for the other purpose. Okay, alpha, right? So now you see here, this is subjected to a downward force, which is W sine alpha, right? The two forces that is acting due to the one due to the flowing water, this is due to the flowing water, and this WS sine alpha due to the weight of that, right? So now if you take the resultant of that one, okay, so that resultant, that will be equal to tau SL A square of this plus WS sine alpha square of this under root of this one. This is the resultant force that is acting. And how that will be balanced? That will be balanced in this case with WS cos alpha and of course the tan theta, right? So we are getting here, this is the equation for the stability of the particles which is on this side. Okay, now we play with this equation. Let me say this is equation number 2, And the first one is the equation number 1, right? First one is the equation number 1. That one I had written here. This is the equation number 1. And once we club these two, I have written here. So whatever I have explained to you, that is written here. So this is the equation number 1, and this is the equation number 2, right? And once you see here, process this 1 and 2 equation, right? And introducing a coefficient k. So this k here is equal to tau SL by tau BL, right? And that is equal to cos alpha under root 1 minus tan square alpha by tan square theta, right? Okay. So here this factor k is coming. So in this case, the tau SL, that will be equal to k times of the tau BL. That's right. Now I'm taking a numerical value here. I'm taking here, okay, alpha in this case is, let us say 1:2. Alpha is, the side slope 1:2, and the theta in this case is 31 degree, right? So once you substitute here this value of the alpha and theta, you will get the value of the k about 0.5, right? Okay. And now see here, let us say, as I told you, you have to design for the higher shear stress, okay? And for that, let me say you are taking the TBL is equal to tau C, right? That is never being designed for the tau C. In general, that is being designed for the 90% or 80%. But just for the discussion, I am taking TBL is equal to tau C, okay? And say your tau C is equal to 2.2 Newton per meter square. Say this is the value of this tau C, right? This is the value of the tau C that we have taken. This means that the tau SL, that will be equal to k times of the tau BL, right? And k is equal to 0.5, and tau BL, that is equal to 2.2, means that this is coming out to be 1.1 Newton per meter square. Now, what conclusion that we can draw from here? The conclusion here is, even though, okay, the sediment particles which is on the bed, that is stable, right? But you see this sediment particles that is on the side, that is not stable, because the shear stress is coming just half, okay, right? But you see the tau BL is also taking about 90 or 80 to 90% of the toss. So that one you have to understand, right? If you have any question, please let me know. Then I proceed for some steps in the design of this one. How do you approach this problem? So you see the steps here are for the design. The first one is the known parameters here. So you have the Q, you have the D, this segment size, you have the S, you have the Z. These are the things that are known to you. And we have to fix the value of the H and P, right? We have to fix this value. So these are the unknowns and we have to get it. What you have to do in this case is, for given value of the sediment size, you have to get the tau C, right? And once the tau C is known, you have to take the tau BL, that is equal to, say, 90%, 0.9 times of the tau C, okay, and accordingly you can take TSL, okay, that is the K times of the tau BL, right? So now this tau BL and the tau SL that is known to you. Then what you have to do is you have to, that one you have to do by the iteration, right? You have to select some value of the H or B, or you have to take some ratio of B by H, okay? So you have to select some value of the B by H, right? You have to take some value, assume some value of this, right? That's okay. Now you can get here the depth of the flow from this consideration also, from this consideration also. I mean, you can get the depth of the flow from this consideration, you have to get from this consideration. Because the B by H you have fixed. So corresponds to B by H, okay, and Z, okay, you can get the value of the tau BM, okay, and you can get the value of, you see, and the tau SM, right? I mean, what is the maximum here? Okay, and this tau BM by rho GHS is equal to how much that you can read from the graph, right? And once you can read from the graph, you take this tau BM in this case is equal to tau SL and tau BM as a tau BL and tau SM as a tau SL, right? And you can get the value of the H. Here you will get the two values. You will get the two values of the HL, and one corresponds to the bed and another corresponds to the side. Okay. In general, the value of the H that you will get from the side equation, I mean tau SM, that will be lesser. Okay. What you have to do, you have to use the lesser value of H, right? And you have to compute here the discharge. To compute here the discharge by the Manning equation, because here the sediment particles are not moving, okay, here is a, and if this this discharge is, let us say I'm putting this one as a design discharge. So if this discharge is equal to QD, then fine. But if that is more than or less than, then you have to modify from here. So these are the steps that is required. Please let me know if you have any questions. Tell me. Then we'll start very simple things. Yes, please. कुछ तो बोलो भाई आप लोग. Any query, please? गुरमीत जी.
हाँ सर.
बताइए, समझ में आया? Anyhow, तो ये आप लोग इसको इस पे प्रॉब्लम वगैरह सॉल्व कर लीजिएगा. आपकी ट्यूटोरियल प्रॉब्लम्स में दिया जाएगा. जब वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करेंगे तो ज्यादा क्लियरिटी इसमें आएगी. अब जो है आपको एक सिंपल अप्रोच जो है चैनल की डिजाइन का हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे, और इसमें इज नॉट फॉर द क्लियर वाटर बट हैविंग सम सेडिमेंट. So now we have to talk about the alluvial channel, right? Alluvial channel carrying sediment laden water, right? And this is a very common, I mean, in all the canals, which is the earthen canal or the alluvial canal or the online canal, whatever you want to say, you see that is having this sediment. Okay, of course it is maybe the sediment load that will be very high or maybe low, right? So in the some of the canals there may be the problem of the sedimentation, in the some of the canals may not be, because the sediment load that is less there. Okay, but in this case we have to talk about the regime theory. So what actually the regime theory is and how that regime theory that will be helpful for the design of the stable channels. So here we are talking about a channel which is carrying sediment related water, and that is a alluvial channel. Okay, actually there are many formulation for the design of the stable channel of this type. Okay, and also the regime theory, right? But the first theory that is documented, that is by the Kennedy, right? And then Lindley, and then the Lacey, right? So we'll discuss here mainly the two, which is proposed by the Kennedy and the Lacey, because the Lacey is very common, and you see this Lacey equation is frequently being used for the design of the stable channel. Okay, in particular for the canals which is having the sediment load of the order of 500 ppm. I mean, all the experimentation that is being carried out by the Kennedy, Lindley, or the Lacey, in those canals, the sediment load that was of the uh, order of 500 ppm. 500 milligram per liter. Okay. One thing you will note down. Okay. Here the sediment concentration factor is not coming in the design. In this approach, you will not get any equation that is dealing with the QS, which is the sediment load, right? So it is presumed that whatever we are discussing of the Kennedy and the Lacey equation, okay, that is limited to design of the channel which is having the maximum sediment concentration of 500 ppm, right? If that is more, because the experimentation that is being carried out by the Kennedy from the Punjab and the Lacey from the UP. Lacey was the chief engineer in the UP irrigation, right? And Kennedy was, I think, the executive engineer in the Punjab irrigation, right? So canals on which they had work, okay, that canals were having the sediment load of the order of 500 ppm. So you will find that in this regime theory, the sediment concentration is not coming in picture in the design aspect. However, the sediment size will come in picture. So we consider the sediment size as the parameter, okay, right? But this QS will not come. We'll discuss this Englund and Hansen method, okay. There we consider this QS parameter, okay. But what is the regime theory, right? This is the important part, okay. And we have to first talk about this regime theory. What actually means this regime theory, right? The basic concept of the regime theory is, whether we are talking about the Kennedy or we are talking about the Lacey, right? Okay. So Lacey, Kennedy, as I told you, Kennedy was the executive engineer in the Punjab irrigation sometimes in 1895, right? And he worked on the Upper Bari Doab canal system. Upper Bari Doab canal system, he worked, okay. He selected some reaches of the canals, that those reaches where there was no any erosion of the bed and there was no also deposition of the sediment, right? Okay, and that's why he considered those channels, those reaches as the stable channels, right? And he related, you see, velocity with the depth of the flow, right? So if you see here, this is a channel, right, which is having the depth of the flow h. So Kennedy, you see, provided this, sorry. So he provided a equation, and that equation is this V is equal to 0.55 and h to the power 0.64. So if this equation is established, okay, then the channel that will be a stable channel. Now I am not using a term resin condition, right? I'm using a term only the stable channels. Means that you have a alluvial channel, right? And having the depth of the flow h, then how that h that will be related with the velocity, that will be related with this expression. But this expression, this is valid only for the upper Bari Doab canal system. Upper Bari Doab. This is a Persian word. Okay, do means two and ab means water. Okay, so this upper Bari Doab canal, right? So this is valid for this, right? But for the other canals which is having the other sediment sizes, he introduced a term, and that is a factor virtually 0.55, and this is, I think, notation here is m h to the power 0.64. Okay, and for the value of the m for the different sediment size, I mean, this is a function of the sediment size. This is a function of the sediment size, right? So actually it started with this upper Bari Doab canal system and extended to the other. Okay, and here the main, if you see from a conceptual point of view, he assumed that the turbulence that is created from the bed, okay, the turbulence that is created from the bed, this turbulence is rising, okay, and this turbulence is responsible, this turbulence is responsible for keeping the sediment particle in the suspension, right? Okay, so based on that he provided this equation, but you can see here this equation is not sufficient for the design of the channel. Okay, I mean, the design of the channels means the design of the stable channel. The reason behind that one is this is the one equation that you have, but you have the two parameters here, that is B and H. Okay, right? So you should have, you see, B by H ratio. Okay, so that later on that one is also introduced. So let me share this slide, and then these things will be more clear. As I told you, the RJ Kennedy and upper Bari Doab canal system, right? And this is the equation, and this m is introduced for the other other type of the material. For the coarse sand, this value M is 1.1 to 1.2. For the fine sand, this value is 0.8 to 0.9, right? And this is the value of the B by H for the different value of the Q. Okay, right? That is given here. So now you can use this two equation, right? And you can fix the value of the B and H. Even though B by H is not given to you, now you have the one additional equation, okay, in addition to the Manning equation, right? And you can get the value of the B and H, okay, right? So here the conclusion is this engineer of the Punjab Irrigation, R.G. Kennedy, virtually worked on the Upper Bari Doab Canal system and come out with the equation that is relating the velocity with the depth of the flow, 0.55 h to the power 0.64, and with this concept that the turbulence that is originating from the bed that is keeping the sediment in suspension, right? And with the use of this, okay, this equation and the equation that is of the Manning equation, you can design the channel, okay? In the next turn, we'll discuss about the regime theory of the Lacy, right? And we'll discuss the design aspect of that one. One thing that you can see here, the slope, there is no any equation that is given by the Lacy, right? Okay, so there is no any slope equation here. But if you club this, I mean the B by H for the different discharges, if you club this, then you can get the value of the S also. So now you have the three equations or two equation and the one B by H ratio, you can get the value of the S also, right? So in the design problem, of course, maybe the S will be not given to you and the B by H that will be given to you, then you can get the value of the S, that is the slope of this one. So if you have any question, please let me know. We'll discuss the Lacy method in the tomorrow. We'll discuss that. Any question, please? Yes, please. I am closing now. If you don't have any question, so I am going to close now.